Hello everyone and welcome back to another tasty episode of Experience Kills. Today I have with me my partner in crime, my co-host, the one and only Richard.
Hello. Not just tasty, delicious, I understand.
You could say that, indeed you could. And I am as always your host Ben, and today we are looking at the console version of Cook, Serve, Delicious Numero Dos, or number 2 in English. It's finally come to consoles after coming out on PC in 2017, and I didn't play the PC version, but I remember a lot of people talking about it at the time, and I was quite intrigued. So when I heard this was coming to console, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sort out that code. I'm gonna see if I can get hold of that. And then I thought to myself, who would also enjoy talking about food? And I thought of Richard.
Thank you.
That's all right. We both like our grub, don't we, Rich?
We do. There's a reason I'm not on video these days.
I mean, one thing you can't deny as well about, you've just watched some video of this game and, you know, you've been bewildered, but you probably saw lots of very delicious representations of food as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw ingredients,
tasty.
I saw utensils, I saw
yeah.
Various eateries in the background, and my one united reaction to all of those things was, what the fuck is all
Brilliant,
that?
love it. Dropping the F-bomb there on YouTube. Thanks for that, Rich. That's great for the all ages. Really good. So all there's the young girls out there wondering, Mummy, what's a good cooking game to get on Xbox? It's this fucking one. Yes.
That's going to make it really hard for you to edit now.
I'm not going to edit it. I was just kidding.
Okay.
I'm not really going to do any of that. That's too much work. But basically, Cook Serve Delicious 2 is kind of a puzzle game set in a restaurant, and it's all about trying to represent and reproduce the hectic nature of, you know, working the pass and as a restaurateur, as a chef, in, you know, as you work your way up from like greasy spoon level hot dog places all the way to Michelin star quality restaurants, and the difficulty of the dishes is represented as you move through these levels. So basically you can have, in Cook Serve Delicious 2, you have your own restaurant, which you can run with your own meals, or you can approach these different challenges in these different restaurants and cook their menus and cook for their sort of head chefs, as well as customizing your own restaurant. You can play all of this as well, pretty much entirely in co-op as well. But I will try now to explain to you, Richard, how the game actually plays, because you weren't the only one to be somewhat bewildered by watching the game. My wife had the same experience when I tried to get her to play some co-op with me. She just couldn't grasp how it works, the fundamentals of how it works.
I don't blame her. I mean, I've played a few video games, and I couldn't pass this at all. No clue what's going on. So
it's actually really simple. It's almost all the controls are on your face buttons, right, of your controller. So down the left-hand side, you have the sort of the orders as they come in. Across the top, so that's all controlled via the X button. Across the top, there are where you can like pre-prepare ingredients or side dishes. And then what you do is when you select a meal, you then get into a sub-menu, which you then have to hit the corresponding keys on the buttons on the controller that represent the ingredient or the aspect of the meal that has been requested for that order. So, for example, you get, I want a hot dog on the left, right, in X. You select the hot dog, and it then says on another screen which type of hot dog and what ingredients. So this is a hot dog, a chili dog, shall we say, with cheese and onions and relish and ketchup. You then have to select those ingredients. You don't have to do it in a particular order, but I usually find following it is the easiest thing to do. You then add all those things, and then you give it to the customer, usually hitting the A button. So it's all about quickly using recognition abilities to read that menu, then learning the particular items you're cooking for that restaurant so that you can very rapidly hit the right buttons to get it to the customer as fast as you can, because things are going to get hectic. Rush hour happens, you have multiple orders come up, as well as chores like cleaning the toilet or emptying the fly traps or putting down mouse traps or emptying the rubbish, and you're trying to balance all of this at the same time. So you're then putting on, along that Y bar I mentioned earlier on the top, sort of pre-cooking elements to those meals. Like maybe you can pre-cook the hot dogs that you know you're going to need to add to buns as the orders come in, or pretzels, or you can do or various things like that. Do you kind of get it now?
I think so. So it looks to me, then I can see why it's a PC game actually originally. So it looks like a menu-based Overcooked. This is like the equivalent of Football Manager to Overcooked's FIFA.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's cool. I like that. Yeah. I think that weirdly, though, it's abstracting the mechanics of cooking a little bit more than, say, Overcooked. It feels much more like it accurately represents the hectic nature of cooking in a busy restaurant, because when you are trying to juggle all these multiple dishes and requests and learning the menu, especially when you first go into these different restaurants, it's incredibly challenging. This game is unafraid to be hard. It's like the sort of the restaurant challenge things are one aspect. Of course, if you're making your own menu, you can practice and learn the different aspects of the menu much more at your own pace. And that's something I was actually, there are different ways of doing it as well. You can have Zen mode, challenge mode, hard mode, endless mode, normal mode. There's loads of different ways of playing the game as well. So there's a lot in there for what is, on the surface, a quite simple concept. It's certainly unique. I've never played a game quite like it. Yeah, it's a hectic, challenging, and quite rewarding experience. When you have a good day and you are able to get all the orders out quickly, correctly, you feel like you've really achieved something. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anything else you wanted to ask? As I know you've not played the game, but if you were wondering about anything else.
Does it lack anything in the sort of visual feedback that you don't get as compared to something like Overcooked? Because what that really wins through with, for me at least, is when you can just see the dirty plates piling up, and you can just see the disaster emerging in real time, and you think, well, right, how am I going to control this? When it's menu based like this game, does it lose any of that instant sort of feedback?
Those elements are actually represented on that left-hand bar. So, for example, if you're running out of time to get an order out, that bar will shrink away. Also, when you give, say, the wrong order, it flashes up red, and it does really convey a lot of those kind of more obvious elements in Overcooked through the menu. You definitely still feel that feedback. You never feel like it's not just numbers, for example, like you compared it to Football Manager. It actually gives you still quite a lot of visual feedback. And I think the game actually, the visual style of the game, there's a lot of charisma and style to the characters and to the patrons as they come to your restaurant. You've got all these different style restaurants as well, and they all come across with a kind of tongue-in-cheek, funny, kind of somewhat Japanese sense of humor. And one of the things I actually love about this game, it's got the most infectious opening theme tune of a game I've heard in a while. Just different people saying the words "cook, serve, delicious" too in different accents and styles over this jaunty tune. It's really weird, but gets in your head, and I've just been humming it and stuff, and it's a proper earworm, that one. But yeah, the game has, so you've got the basic premise of the game is you want to do these challenges and run your restaurant and make money, and as you make money, you can buy more recipes for your own restaurant, which of course can be everything from tater tots to, like I said, a complex meal involving multiple elements, and it can be as hard as you kind of want it to be, but at the same, so you can play it just in this Zen mode, in chill mode as it were, and just have a little fun making a few meals, and that's absolutely fine. Or you can really push yourself to create these culinary masterpieces with multiple pages of, so one of the things you'll be doing when I was talking about the button presses, so there'll be like different pages, and on each page you're holding different triggers, like to the left or right column, to then select the face button. So there's absolutely loads of combinations of ingredients, and it's so frustrating when you get it wrong and you're like, oh god, I'm gonna have to give this meal to this guy, and it's got the wrong ingredient and it's not quite what was ordered, but it's still edible. But it's not quite good, not what it should be. You can be cooking food as well, and it will burn, and then it goes spoils, and then the different foods will have different like levels of waste. For example, if you're doing like, say, a hamburger with lots of wrapping and packaging, that will leave more rubbish on the counters, which then need to be cleared down and stuff and maintained as well. So there's lots of metrics. So you're making money, but then there's also this buzz metric, which is all about kind of like talking about the Michelin star aspect of like making your restaurant a place people want to go to. So it represents that as well, and hype. And then there are menu items that maybe people don't want to see on the menu too often. If they do, they start to lose interest. So you have to buy in new menu items and then keep rotating them. So you're constantly learning different things as well to cook in your restaurant. So there's a lot going on.
Too much?
Yes.
Does it?
It's quite bewildering to start with.
All that stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy it, but like you said, like from your initial reaction, it is bewildering to begin with. Yeah, because it doesn't really play like anything you've ever played before or seen before. It's a completely unique experience, and I think running a restaurant isn't one that's necessarily a concept many people have much of a grasp of. So it throws you in, but you know, I got to grips with it pretty quickly once you just accept the basic tenets of the controls and the basic setup of you know what you're trying to achieve. I played mostly through the kind of different restaurant options, as it were, playing the different challenges and stuff. I quite liked the variety it gave me for different types of food and stuff, and I found it was a really good way of learning what I wanted to put in my own restaurant. So of course you can theme your restaurant if you wanted. You want to do a burger place or, you know, pizzeria, and you know, anything you fancy really. You can lean towards those types of foods, or completely change it whenever you want. Yeah.
Well, it sounds far too complicated for me. I think I prefer the simplicity of Overcooked, but yeah, it's nice to have.
I know what you mean. The thing about Overcooked is it is got a cute style, and it is very much more of an arcade experience. This is more of the restaurant simulator almost.
Yeah.
It's good though. I had a good time. It's certainly different.
So has it made your wife a better cook?
My wife was already a fantastic cook. I am a terrible cook.
Well, hopefully it makes you a better cook then.
Yeah. Hopefully it will improve my cooking. But I think that brings us to the end, unless you have any other questions, of this episode of Experience Kills, Richard.
I think I'm full.
He's full up on this tasty, cook-serve, delicious that doesn't really work as a sentence, but we'll go with it anyway. So that was a fun episode. Thanks for joining us and listening/watching this particular production. And in relation to that, if you are watching that on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps with our visibility. And if not, maybe you want to take us on the go. It'd be easier to listen in your earbuds on the way to work or down at the gym. And if that is the case, you can find us on Spotify as well. All the links are in the video description, or on iTunes, or our just raw RSS feed if you're, say, using Overcast or Downcast or one of those app providers for podcasts. Lots of options. You can find me at DIYE on Twitter. Obviously, you can find the main Experience Kills brand at, strangely enough, Experience Kills on Twitter. Where can they find you, Richard?
You can find me at Colonel Red on Twitter. And if you are at the gym, give me one more. Arrgh!
Push. Or maybe that's when you're on the toilet. Listen to a podcast. Probably shouldn't go down that road. But yeah, we'll be back soon with more exciting video/audio content. So see you guys all then.